Hey guys, so here we're going to start creating the primary forms for the body. Now just scroll down on to the right side and you're gonna find layers. And within the layers here, right, you could see that there are a bunch of layers that came with the base mesh in Zbrush. So what we're gonna do is just gonna bake them all so we don't have to see those layers. Bake all, click on that. And we're gonna need to do that in order for us to do some stuff with this, okay? Because we're gonna have to do some isolation and splitting of the geometry. So that's the reason why we had to bake them all. Okay, so now we're just gonna turn on polyframe here, okay? And when you turn on polyframe, you're gonna see those wires and you're gonna see the different polygroups. Now we're gonna be using the lasso tool to isolate part of the head here because we're gonna make that into a separate subtool. Control Shift click and drag. So this is gonna be isolated now, and the others that are hidden, parts of the geometry are now hidden. And what we're gonna be doing is we're going to click on split hidden here. Okay, so what's gonna happen is it's going to divide the body into a separate subtool and also the head in a separate subtool when we do this. Okay, and there you go. And if you look at your subtool, you should have a subtool for just the head, and then another subtool with just the body in there. And the reason why we are splitting those in separate subtools is because for the head subtool here, for the head, we're going to be increasing the resolution a lot more than the other parts of the body, because the head has a lot more details and really small refined details. So we need to get those down, the resolution, more resolution than the body. And when we do that, we don't want it to affect the body, the shape of the body as we manipulate the head. Okay, and now showing the body again. And then I'm just gonna go to the body of the subtool here, subtool body, and zoom in out. Okay, so we're also going to be doing the same thing for the hand here. Okay, Control Shift click and drag to isolate the hand there, and we're going to be putting that hand in a separate subtool. Okay, Control Shift click and drag. So you could see that while I'm doing this, I have polyframe turned on so that I could see better what exactly I'm selecting within the polygon area. Okay, and there you go. So, and there are parts here that it looks like I have missed, so I'm just gonna Control Shift click and Alt to just hide those. So I've hidden other parts of the body except for the hand, and now I'm gonna click split hidden. So what that does now is I have a separate subtool for the hand there. Okay, so you see that separate subtool for the hand, separate subtool for the body, and for the head. And it's also for the same reason, because for the hand we're gonna need way more resolution than we do for the torso and the legs. Alright, and there you go. And we're also going to be splitting the feet here. Okay, the feet needs to be in a separate subtool, so just isolating that, hiding the rest of the body but the foot. There you go. And just click on split hidden. There you go. So as you could see, we have separate subtool for the head, the hands, foot, feet, and the body. Okay, so it's good to work that way because for the head, the feet, and the hands, they're all gonna have higher resolution than the other parts of the body. Okay, so as you can see there, yes, just double checking. Everything is in a separate subtool there for what I need. Okay, looking around. Now, going up, and we could, here, checking it out, we could begin working on the body. And if you scroll down, go to geometry, and we're going to go to Dynamesh, and we're going to be Dynameshing this body here so we could get the primary form started. Okay. So for the resolution, just set it to 304, and just make sure that you click on the Dynamesh button there. There you go. So now it's easier to work with that Dynameshed. We got the Dynameshed. Okay, now here, now I like to start out with the clay brush here just to get the basic forms down. Okay, as you can see here, you could check out the type of brush that I'm using at the beginning, using the clay brush to just block out the primary forms. When I say primary forms, I am speaking of the big forms that you see in the body, such as the chest, the deltoids, the biceps, the abs. Those are all primary forms that we need to indicate there at the beginning. Okay, those big forms. And it's good to do the primary forms at the beginning before we go about and doing the details, just so that we could get all the shape down that we need. And if we need to make any changes, it's a lot easier for us to do that than having a bunch of details there that we need to adjust because we decided to skip the primary forms. And it's really best to just take your time to get the primary forms as good as possible so that later on the secondary forms and the little micro details that you're going to add is just going to come just a lot easier because you have the overall shape down of the character right in the beginning. And so right now I am just doing the shape of the back. As you can see there, I am blocking in the trapezius muscle here, and I also blocked out a part of the deltoid and on the muscle for the back. So we got the infraspinatus and we got the teres major here muscle. Okay, so just blocking those out. Using the dam standard brush and also the clay brush. The dam standard brush is to cut in just kind of like drawing out the muscles, and then the clay brush to just add volume to those muscles. And I go back and forth between using the clay brush and the standard dam standard brush, and in between those I smooth it out as I go. And then right there I am just indicating the muscle parts for the chest, where we have the clavicular section, we got the sternum section, and the ab section of the chest. Okay, 1, 2, 3. So just thinking of those parts of the muscle as I do this, but just doing it in a subtle way, not really getting caught up with the details, just subtly applying those muscles that I need. And dam standard brush right there, making those carves, drawing out where the muscles are supposed to go, going back and forth between the dam standard and the clay brush, then going back to smoothing it out. And there I'm just indicating the muscles for the forearm. So I got the extensor muscles here for the forearm, and then this here is going to be the flexor muscles. So just slightly indicating those as I go. And the chest right here, drawing out the area of the chest. Dynamesh is just really a fun way to sculpt because you could get the shape down so quickly, and when you redynamesh it makes things a lot easier because it redistribute the polygons wherever you need them. So when you're using the clay tubes, right now I'm also using the clay tubes. Okay, the clay tubes are different from a little bit slightly different from the regular clay brush because the clay tubes give you a harder edge than the regular clay brush. And when you use the clay tubes here, and since it has a harder edge here, it produces a harder edge than the regular clay brush. When you smooth this out later on, some of those details tend to stay, and I kind of actually like that where the muscles stay a little bit. So there you go, using the clay tubes, and then indicating where the nipple is going to be, and applying where the abs are going to reside. So right now it's just all blocking out the forms, looking at the overall shape of the character, and thinking about where the muscles are supposed to go, and then applying them using clay tubes, clay brushed, applying those volumes that I need, and then using the damp standard brush and using the cut as I go. So remember the shape of the abs. So we got the Greek arch here. So you got so think of this here as you got the rib area, right? And then you got here, there's going to be here is going to be the hip area, alright? And then you're going to have the abs here. You got the abs actually starts here at the top, okay? Right at the top here. It has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, okay? And then you got the keg shape here of the abs, okay? So using the clay tubes and then smoothing it out. As you can see, when I use the clay tubes and add the volumes that I need, when I smooth it out, some of those shapes still stay in there. And that's actually one of the reasons why I also like clay tubes. Okay. And if you guys want to go back to just using the reference that you guys have, you guys could do that. Look at some bodybuilder photos as you sculpt. It's always good to have reference in front of you. And for the private area here, I'm just gonna go and smooth it out. Don't really need that right now. Smoothing that out and then adding some clay here. So what I'm doing is I'm just making it look like he's wearing a really tight brief, okay? So I'm just gonna flatten this out a little bit. Flatten that out. There you go. And here, just indicating where the bony landmark is at, like that's going to be for the ulna. So you got the ulna there. And so I am also indicating the epicondyles here. Okay, so we got the ulna here that I've indicated, and then you got the epicondyles of the humerus that I am subtly showing. And then I have there, once you know where the bony landmark is at, you could indicate where the muscles reside. So coming off from that condyle is going to be the extensor digitorum muscle of the forearm. Okay. There you go. Just blocking in the forms here. Thinking about where the tricep is going to go. Looking in all views, constantly looking at all views. So thinking of the triceps right now, thinking of the shape of the triceps. So for the triceps, right, we have the lateral triceps here, okay, lateral. We got the long head part of the tricep. From the surface is the biggest part of the tricep area, and then we got the medial tricep, okay, and you have this part that you need to know, which is the tendon of the triceps. Okay, so it's the tricep, the lateral side of the tricep here, it's a little higher around this area, and then for the long head of the tricep, it gets a little lower. Okay, so you got this shape going on. Okay, and then we got the ulna. And just there, I'm indicating the coracoid branchialis here, okay, the underarm muscle. And then here, I am indicating the branchialis muscle, okay. And so this is going to be the bicep here, okay. And then here is going to be the triceps. So just thinking of those forms as I am sculpting, okay, and then you have here is going to be the flexor part of the forearm, flexors, okay, and then here is going to be the extensor part of the forearm. So just thinking of those shapes as I am creating this here, sculpting those forms using the clay tubes, the wonderful clay tubes that allow us to give us the nice shape that we need. And smoothing it out. So applying some clay and then smoothing it out. And using the dam standard to just make a cut there to indicate where the spine is going to be. And then just using that to indicate the iliac spine and the iliac crest. And then we got the dimple here in the butt that I've indicated, and don't forget that triangular shape here at the back, which is the sacrum. You got the iliac crest. So just drawing out those parts that we need. There you go. Blocking in those forms, just deepening that booty crack there. So right now everything is, I'm on symmetry mode, making sure I'm on symmetry mode at all times as I'm just blocking in the shape here. And when I am doing the booty area, I'm actually thinking of remember the bean shape, okay? Right there, bean shape. And you got this here, a little bit pushed in. And you don't really see that type of bean shape on a female booty, okay? For a female, since they have the fat on their hips, they're not gonna have that V shape. They're gonna have more of the fat on their hips here, so they're not, that this area is not gonna be pushed in as it is in the male, okay? And just everything was a little low, so just moving things around. Okay, so now on the legs, going to the legs and then just indicating where the muscles are at, using the dam standard brush, drawing out the areas of the muscle. So what I like to do is I like to use the damn standard brush to just make my cut of where the muscle is going to be residing, right? And then later on use the clay tubes, right, to add the clay on top. Okay, add the clay on top there, and then later on I just smooth it out using the smooth brush, holding the shift key to smooth it out. And there you go, me using the damn standard again to just draw out the calf area, thinking of the calves, and then using the clay tubes to add the volume there. If you want to push in the clay, you could hold the Alt key as you draw on the mesh, so that will allow you to push in the clay. So I push in, push out the clay, protrude the clay. So such as in this area right here, I use the clay tubes to just push this part in. Okay, so to give us that indication of the Achilles tendon here that is very visible on the back of the lower leg. And so here I am indicating the tendon that comes off from the hamstring here, okay, for the bicep femoris muscle. And here I am putting in there, they're going to be the anterior superior iliac spine. It's an important bony surface landmark of the anatomy. And I added the anterior superior iliac spine because that's going to be a nice landmark, and that will give us a guide of where the sartorius is going to be. So remember, sartorius is the longest muscle in the entire human body. Comes off from the anterior superior iliac spine. There you go. So indicating that there. And then using the clay tubes to just add the quads here. Adding those quads. And smoothing it out. Subtly smoothing it out. So when I'm doing this, I'm just thinking of the rectus femoris, thinking of the vastus medialis, and then the vastus lateralis muscle. Okay, so thinking of those quad shapes as I do this. So in here you could even see part of the hamstring, semitendinosus, semimembranosus here, and then you could also see the sartorius here. And then you're going to see some of the adductor muscles, inner part of the muscles. Okay, so they're all coming together there. And now just indicating the knees, patella. So thinking of the patella there, and here is going to be so we got the patella, and then here we're going to have the tibia, the tibia bone, okay. And then there you go, just indicating the bony landmark there of the tibia. And then in here we're going to have the gastrocnemius, the calf muscles. Smoothing that out. So this is the reason why it's so important to know the bones, not just the muscles, but the bony landmarks, because that is basically the foundation of the body. Okay, if you know the bones, then you will know how the muscles are going to be constructed on top of the bones. And then using the damn standard to just kind of cut that part out. There you go. Using damn standard brush. And then here, as you see me, I indicated the fibula bone, okay? So the fibula bone is going to be, this shows the landmark, which is going to be the head of the fibula, and then we're going to have here the lateral malleolus on the ankle area. So coming off from that bone, from the fibula bone, from the head of the fibula bone are the peroneus muscles, peroneus longus and peroneus brevis. Okay, so looking in all views, coming around, coming along. And just thickening this up using the standard brush. So looking around all views, making sure I got the basic shape down for the primary forms. So zoom in, just like to look at my stuff from far away a lot. So I like to use the standard brush. Standard brush here I like to use when I see some areas that are a little flat. That's the type of brush that I use to add some more thickness, especially in the lat area. And also there. So if you see any flat areas on your mesh, standard brush is a good brush to use. Alright, got the primary forms there.